Hi, Kit Works with you with Flower Duet, and we're going to decorate around a bunny for the Easter holidays. In order to decorate our bunny for this Easter holiday, we are going to put it on a platform. So right now, I have a little pot here, upside down, like so, any garden pot. And my wet floral foam surrounding it. I'm in a design dish. This is kind of styrofoam on the bottom of the feet. I'm using what we call a Barbie chair that's normally used to secure floral foam in the bottom of a vase. Got floral clay on the bottom. Push that floral clay into the bottom of the pot so the Barbie chair is secure. So now I can pop my bunny on the spikes of the Barbie chair. I might have to do it the other way around. So let me see. Let me see where got my Barbie chair with the floral clay onto the bunny. Now I can push Miss Bunny down and she is nice and secure. And we can start adding flowers. Well, no, not yet. First we have to secure our floral foam. So it's let's see, 2/3 of a brick of floral foam that I cut into sixths. So I have 4 sixths. And I stood them upright, and I can add water to the design dish once I get this in place. So tape sticks to itself. So I'm just gonna go around the bricks. It's not gonna stay stuck until I stick it to itself. So I gotta line it up so I don't get it wet. This isn't like super secure. This is just to get it so that my foam stays where I want it to stay. If I wanted more security, what I can do is go over the top. Again, your design dish needs to be dry in order for this to work. So I'm going over each brick and securing it to my design dish. And I'm doing this with a bunny, but you could do it with anything. You could do it with a teddy bear, for a birthday. You could do it with any sort of creature, stuffed animals, anything you can somehow prop up, stick something in the bottom of his feet to prop him up. So going around this design dish in order for the tape, so that the tape doesn't come off. So that secures those cross pieces. That way, if you wanted to transport this to your, grandmother's house for Easter or for your client, they can do that. So now it's really secure, not too much tape that we can't get our flowers in there. So let's start adding some fun springy flowers. The first thing we want to do is hide this foam. And so I'm going to use some moss that looks very much similar to what's on the bunny to first just hide the foam. That way I won't have to use as many flowers. So what I'm going to do is pull my moss out. It's a little bit messy. Spread it out as much as I can. Spread the well. Then I'm going to take my moss pins and secure it to the foam. So I'm just going to go, and I'm going to let it overhang the dish so that it kind of disguises the dish too. So I'm just going to go around and do that. I'll speed it up and see what I'm doing, but I want to spread my moss out. And of course there's a dirty side and a nice mossy side. So I'm going to put the dirty side towards your towards the foam and the nice side out, like so. So I'm just going to keep going around, speed it up, and you can watch. So I have my moss kind of loosely in place. So what I want to do now is, trim anything that's just kind of hanging over, and I can just, pop it up on top of the vase if I need to, or, fill in any other spots with my trimmings. I can take trimmings and then re-pin them if I need to. I have a few more moss pins. I can just make sure it's secure, so when I put my stems through, the moss doesn't fall out. But the stems that I'm going to add in, the flower stems, will also help keep the moss in place. So the moss pins are a great handy tool to have. If you don't have moss pins, you could take stub wire or floral wire, and you can make little pieces and bend them in half and have like hair pins. So you can add, use them as moss pins. So just stub wire, bend it in half like a hairpin, and stick it in, and that's like your homemade moss pins. And you can use that anytime. So now we're ready to add some flowers. 5 beautiful big roses here. So I'm going to put them basically around the base. So Bunny's looking at me here, so I'm going to have one kind of coming a little bit off center from her. Now I need to find where the foam is, so I'm going to feel around with my finger and pop it in. Remember, stems seal up in 5 seconds. So you want to make sure that after you cut it, you know where you're putting it. So I might have one kind of coming up the side of her, a little taller. I think I have to find that floral foam and avoid the tape. Remember, I put that tape in there, the one on the back. That way, anywhere anyone's sitting, they see a nice pink rose. So that's 4 roses. And since we always want to work in some odd numbers, let's add another one low here. Next, I have these really pretty purple carnations that are novelty color. They're kind of bicolor purple and pink together. And I'm going to give each rose a couple buddies. So I'm going to kind of surround my roses with some of these beautiful purpley carnations. So, use the buddy system. If you don't know where to put the next flower, just put it next to the flowers you first added. And remember, you can always fluff your carnations out like that. And then you can see some more of the color in there. So what we want to do, our goal is to surround the bunny with flowers, but also hide that little stand that the bunny is sitting on. So we're going to keep adding. And now I also have these mini spray pink carnations. So these are sprays, so they have more than one stem on it. So you can have, because they're taller, we can have, and lighter, we can have some coming up the side of the bunny, maybe all around. Remember, you don't have a full wreath of foam, so you got to really feel where the foam is before you can put your flowers in. Again, where to put them, you can give each rose like three of them, like surround each rose with 3 blooms that are fairly open, just to add a contrast of color and a contrast of texture. And our goal is to look springy. Carnations are perfect for spring feeling. They're hardy, they last a long time, they smell good. They come in tons of colors now. Any color that's not pink, white, or red is considered a novelty color. So those purple ones I put in are newer novelty color. There's a lot of really great purple carnations now. So if you like purple, you're in luck. And they look great with roses. This is not your grandmother's carnation design. Carnations have really evolved and they're just beautiful. Okay, so here's the front. And now I'm going to work a little bit on the back here, adding some of these. I don't think I'm going to need all of these spray carns, so you don't need as many as I have on the table. Just pulling them up. These are left over from an event. Actually, from a class we taught. Let's see, I'm going to look at her and see where I need some more pink right here in the front. And don't be afraid to come like really low in your design out to the ewer. Make sure you're covering any of that tape we added in the beginning, right? We're going to add a few more elements to hide any of our architecture. Getting tangled up. Let's just add a little depth coming out. Again, carnation stems are very delicate. The flowers last a long time, but the stems are delicate, so be careful pushing them in, especially through the, not just the foam, but through the moss, and making sure you're avoiding that tape. Okay, so I think we used maybe 5 spray carns to get that look we're going for. So let's find the next thing. I have another kind of rose. This one's a garden spray rose. It's called Bombastic, and they look like mini peonies. And I'm going to cut them off the main stem, peel back those cushion petals, and then reveal the bud. So because I don't have tons of these, I'm just going to put one next to each rose that I have. I think I have 5, and I have 5 of the big roses. So I'm just going to give them an accent, peeling off those cushion petals. They almost look like little eggs. Got to find that foam. Sometimes you can pre-poke with like another stem if you need to. But definitely you got to use your eyes and your fingers to poke through and find that clear foam area where you can put your stem into. It looks like I'm peeling a lot of petals off, but that's just because I really want these to open. And then cut again before you place them. Put one down here on the back here. Searching for a spot in the foam to get it in. Got to get it into the foam at least an inch, you know, or ½ inch. Just you got to make it sure it, number one, it stays, and number two, it can drink the water that's in the foam. Remember, this isn't a lot of foam that we used. So I have one by all the low roses, I believe. Let's see. Maybe I can put this one, these 2 pair in the front here with this other one, and then it can make a nice impact. I like that. Right in the front. Next, we're going to add a little bit of greenery and filler. So that's how you finish it. Filler is for filling in. So I'm just going to add some leaves of greenery around just to give it a little, you know, hide that platform that the bunny's on. Really got to find, you know, a spot here to get the stem in. There we go. So I'm just going to add some pieces here around right next to the bunny where it's standing. And then I'll probably go back and grab a few more to add around. This kind of hides where she's perched on. An upside down pot isn't always that pretty, so I want to hide it. And then do a couple leaves next to those flowers. So remember, there's no greenery on these flowers, so that because they're, you know, in the foam, we don't want any greenery in that foam. So we add greenery back in the form of the type that we make for that they grow for the industry. Because this greenery is much hardier, lasts a lot longer than greenery that comes on the floral stems. So I'm just going around the base here, getting that into the foam low, having it go maybe underneath the moss or hiding any of the architecture. If I have a cut showing, I'm tucking it under the flower that I've already added so you don't see that there's a cut there. I'm just pushing it way far in. The farther in that you push little pieces of greenery, the more coverage you get. So I think I just added 5 there. I might go back and add a few more, but let's add the filler. Bunny seems to be listing slightly to the left, so let's move her. She's getting pushed over by this flower. Okay, so let's add a little bit of wax, break up some of the masses of flowers we have in the front. So we're just going to take the wax, make sure the stem is clean before you pop it in. And the thing I like about wax flower as a filler is it has this nice greenery on it too, so it really adds a lot to your design, not just the flowers, the little baby flowers, but also the greenery. Okay, so we want to add some here, but also some low. So I'm going to add some up near Bunny, and then I'm going to come down underneath. So I'm going to go up, down, and I'm going to keep going around. Up, down near Bunny, up near Bunny, the base of Bunny, and then down around the base of the design. So just pattern up near Bunny, getting it into the foam, covering up. The filler really helps cover up any architecture. So cutting, pulling off lower greenery, then putting it down. Up near Bunny, down. Coming around, up near Bunny, down, up near Bunny in the front. Got a nice one full of flowers down at the base, and then let's see if I have a nice full greenery one. This is pretty. Another one near the base in the front, because that's where everyone's going to be looking at Miss Bunny. Maybe I can prop her up with a little stem. Let's see. Seems to be listing slightly. I'm just going to prop a little stem underneath her foot here. There, now she's standing up a little straighter. So I picked up this bunny at Home Goods, I believe, last year. They usually have some fun statues for the holidays, so check out your local craft store or home goods store or online. There we go. I'm going to clean off the area so you can see how she looks.